Hey guys, so the Oscars were last night and I wasn't going to make a video about them, but if you follow me on Twitter or if you watch the Oscars, you know that I have to. First of all, I've never been more excited for an Oscar show in my whole life than this one, especially, because of the hosts and the movies, everything. I thought it was just going to be really great. James Franco and Anne Hathaway. I thought their opening monologue, or I guess dialogue, was funny. As the show went on, it just got so bad. James Franco might as well have not even been there because he didn't do anything or say anything. Anne Hathaway was not funny. Anne Hathaway has no comedic timing. She plays the joke very obviously, and it's just not funny. It's not funny. She's very cheesy. James Franco has comedic timing, but they didn't have him say anything, and he didn't do anything. The hosts really let me down. They did. I'm not going to say too much about that. I cannot comprehend how, some things were funny, but most of it was not. I don't understand why the Academy Awards can't find a writer that can have things that would work for every actor. And when people are presenting something, why does every presentation of an award have to be this forced, awkward comedy? We don't need comedy. Comedy doesn't have to happen every 5 seconds at the Oscars, because it doesn't. But they try to make it happen. When somebody's presenting an Oscar, they have this stupid try to be funny banter between the two people presenting, and it's not funny, and it's just everybody's watching at home just quit while you're ahead, but they don't. My picks for everything, I wrote it on Twitter, I wrote it on Tumblr, and I don't know if I wrote it on Facebook, but Christian Bale had to win for Best Supporting Actor. I thought The Social Network would win for Best Picture. Natalie Portman will win Best Actress, Melissa Leo has to win Best Supporting Actress, and Colin Firth will win Best Actor. The whole night, all of those predictions were true until Best Picture. We'll get to that later. Melissa Leo won, of course. I heard stuff about her trying to get people to vote for her. I don't know what that's about, but if that's true, that's, it makes me annoyed, because she didn't need to do that. Again, Andrew Garfield should have been there instead of Mark Ruffalo. Kevin Spacey was very funny. Kevin Spacey should host. Has Kevin Spacey ever hosted the Oscars? He probably has, but he's really funny, so let me know, because he should host, because he was funny. They did a lot of throwbacks. I'm watching now, they're showing Titanic and everything with Tom Hanks, and I thought that was so great. Really good. I love that. Jake Gyllenhaal did not propose to me when he was presenting, so whatever, maybe next time he will. Amy Adams was absolutely terrified. She was the most nervous person at the whole Academy Awards. Made me very uncomfortable. I'm sorry that I did not Google this beforehand, but I'm just reading my tweets. The guy who started his speech with, I should have gotten a haircut, that was the funniest speech of the night. The whole auto-tune thing was hilarious. Really, really funny. Black Swan was barely recognized at all night. I tweeted, haven't seen enough of Black Swan tonight, and that was towards the end of the show, so I loved when the two people won the award. I don't remember who it was. I didn't write it down, but two people won an Oscar for something, and they hugged each other, and they were first things first, and they hugged each other, and I loved that. Best Director went to The King's Speech, whoever that was. I disagree with that 100%. I didn't have a pick for Best Director because I didn't know who I wanted to win or who I really thought would win. Because Darren Aronofsky for Black Swan, everything with the mirrors and the camera shots and everything was really, really good. So I think that he should have won Best Director. Also, David Fincher for Social Network should have won too. So I can't decide between Darren Aronofsky and David Fincher for that one. But it doesn't matter because the King's Speech director came out of nowhere and took it from them. So I was so mad about that. I love Annette Bening. I wouldn't have minded if Annette Bening won for Best Actress. I wouldn't be damn, but Natalie Portman obviously won, obviously. And yeah, I thought it was great. And you know what's funny about that? When I was watching Black Swan, the scene where she's in the bathroom and she is on the phone and she says, he picked me or whatever, I said to my friend, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's gonna get her an Oscar. And that's the clip that they showed before she won. And I was like, ha, told you. Oh, and I liked in her speech when she said that, he's now giving me the most important role in my life. I was like, damn, that's good. Sandra Bullock, you could so tell that she was upset about something. It was A, really obvious, and B, I felt bad because I love Sandra Bullock. I also tweeted that none of my Oscar predictions have been wrong all night. I wonder if I'll get a perfect score with Best Picture for The Social Network, and I think I jinxed the whole thing with that tweet. Best Picture. My jaw literally dropped when they said The King's Speech. I couldn't believe it. Just so wrong. I thought that The Social Network would win. It's hard for me to pick between Black Swan and The Social Network because they're so different. They're so different, but I think The Social Network, I think I would have wanted that to win over Black Swan. I knew Black Swan would never get Best Picture over The Social Network. In no way did I think that The King's Speech even stood a chance compared to the two of them. Like, I was thinking if it wasn't The Social Network, it would be Black Swan. And if it wasn't Black Swan, it would be The Social Network. And I thought it would be The Social Network over any of them. But The King's Speech, and before you tell me that The King's Speech was a great movie, whatever, I agree with you. The King's Speech was a great movie. The King's Speech was a nice, solid, good movie. I wouldn't watch it more than once. I saw it once in theaters. I have no, want to see it again. I thought the style of The King's Speech was very straightforward, and it was not very, artistic, and it was very sort of like just clean and just boring. Black Swan had a completely different, like, it had its own style. Like, Black Swan was, a certain piece of art, and The Social Network was another piece of art, and The King's Speech was like a napkin. Really, I enjoyed The King's Speech, but I cannot even begin to explain how much of a fail that was. If you followed me on Twitter, and I cannot believe I only lost one follower on Twitter, I think I tweeted like every minute for 3 hours, but anyway. And you know what? What is Twitter for if it's not for tweeting during an award show, really? But yeah, and I enjoy the tweets, Shut Up Buck and everything. I love reading those too, so. I feel like Best Picture is The Social Network. The score alone for The Social Network, like, that is probably 50% of why it should have been Best Picture. The other 50% is the brilliant acting, the extremely interesting storyline, which was written prior to that, but whatever. The style of the movie, everything was so unique and different, it should have won. But, in Black Swan, you can't, forget everything with the mirrors and the filming and all the, specific details that you have to watch the movie 5 times to notice, and, there are forums online that, discuss things that nobody's ever even thought of before, and they're like, oh, have you noticed this in this scene? And it was a letdown. The whole show let me down. I was very excited for it, and it was not even close to what I wanted it to be. Could have been so much better. I think I've covered everything, but yeah, comment below if you watched the Oscars and if you followed me on Twitter and were reading along and everything. Let me know if you overall enjoyed the Oscars, and let me know what you thought of James Franco and Anne Hathaway, because they disappointed me. They started out okay, but then it just was bad. So let me know. Okay, bye.